Na 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 na. Welcome to Saturday's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most to start your girlfriends and your wives. You can follow me on X, Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and on the brand new social media platform, please somebody add me on that. It is dead over there. Blue Sky, Mick, your host with the most at Movies TV Mad, and of course on Instagram and Threads at Movies TV Mad X. You could be watching this video on that very platform, Instagram, maybe YouTube, I don't know. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today I want to respond to what I was talking about yesterday, which was the whole make the trailer better thing. The rumour was that James Gunn's boss at WB Pictures, Warner Brothers Pictures, Mike DeLuca, told James Gunn to make the Superman trailer better. I'm going to respond to what Gunn said, because Gunn denied that was true. And I want to respond to what James Gunn said there. And then I want to talk about Rick Flag Sr., because the guy who plays him, the brilliant straight shooter Frank Grillo, has been giving out a lot of information about this character. So I want to talk about him, but I also want to talk about James Gunn's plans and his original plans and his present plans for his Suicide Squad universe, which now will be part of the DCU plans. And I think that part of what he's doing is very interesting. I will continue to see these red flags within kind of the shared universe he's planning and his Superman movie until the movie and, universe itself, when we actually see it, taking its baby steps, proves me wrong. And hopefully the Superman movie does prove me wrong. And those red flags are just part of my imagination. So we're talking about that as well on today's video. Right. First of all, James Gunn denies that Mike DeLuca told him to make the Superman trailer better. He said that is something that happens in-house at DC Studios, and no one at WB Pictures will be telling him that. It will be him and his partner. What's his name? I forgot what's his bloody name? You know how bad I am with names anyway. It's Peter Safran. I remembered it. Yeah, so it's only Gunn and Safran that will be telling the people working on a trailer to make it better. Here's the thing, James. This is where your denials fall to pieces. Because once your people make that trailer, you've got to show Adby and DeLuca, the co-CEOs of Warner Brothers Pictures. Without them seeing it and rubber stamping it, it doesn't get out there. They are your bosses, James. I know you're painting a picture that here at DC Studios, it's all up to us and we're in charge, and no one on the outside gets to say anything. And we're the only one who gives the notes. That is not true, my friends. DC Studios isn't a real studio. It's a logo, I keep on saying this. And your bosses are Mike DeLuca and Pam Adby and David Zaslav at Warner Brothers Discovery. They're your bosses. Now, I'm quite sure you're correct and they don't interfere a hell of a lot. But ultimately, when you've made something, you've got to show it to them to rubber stamp it. So there's my view on that. I know this, James Gunn knows this. So even though they're able to do a lot, they have a lot of creative control. And there's not much input from Adby, DeLuca and Zaslav. In the end of the day, they still have to rubber stamp and green light the stuff that Gunn and Safran are planning and doing. Right now, let's talk about James Gunn's plans in his original Suicide Squad universe, from Suicide Squad and beyond. And now all this will be part of the DCU. Now this side of it, I'm very, very excited about. So there was a big thing that happened in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad movie. Peacemaker, aka Christopher Smith, murdered or in self-defense killed Rick Flag Jr. This started a chain of events that led to the goings-on in the first series of Peacemaker. According to James Gunn, now this will all be DCU canon. So that's kind of exciting. So what happens in Peacemaker Series 1? Amanda Waller tries to stitch up Peacemaker, but her daughter Abadiah, or however you pronounce her name, sorry about that fictional character, I'm not pronouncing your name correct, but anyway, she outs her mother, Amanda Waller. So now Amanda Waller is underground, and she's known, now she's not the task leader of Argus, Rick Flag Sr. So Joe Kinnaman, aka Rick Flag Jr., basically was murdered by Christopher Smith, aka Peacemaker. Now in comes Frank Grillo as his father, Rick Flag Sr. You can see him, first of all, on Creature Commandos, the animated series that kicks off in just under a week's time. Very, very exciting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it here in Cyprus, so if you don't see me reviewing the episodes, it's because I don't have access to them. I'm not a top-tier content creator, and I apologise. Please don't leave me because I'm not a top-tier content creator. It ain't my fault. I'm just not very good at what I do. I'm just here from passion, not ability. But anyway, let's continue. So, what happens is, because Waller has now been outed, she goes deep, deep underground, and we'll talk about what she does next, because we really are heading to Checkmate, if any of you know what Checkmate is. By the way, if you can't be bothered to read a comic about Checkmate, you can buy or rent out or go onto streaming and watch Smallville Series 9. There's a movie event called Absolute Justice. If you watch that, you know, it's either 2 episodes you're going to see it in, or it's a movie event. Absolute Justice is a team-up between the Smallville kind of Justice League, you know, the beginning of a Justice League and the old Justice Society, and Checkmate is mentioned there. And a few episodes after that, they're dealing with Checkmate. So you'll find out everything you want to know. Smallville did absolutely nearly everything that's kind of popular in DC Comics, and Checkmate was done so well, by the way. So, we'll get into Checkmate very, very shortly. So, Rick Flag Sr. replaces Amanda Waller as the head of Argus. Now, he starts to get access to information and things he didn't have before. He finds out what they did to his son. You know, he finds out that Peacemaker murdered his son and Amanda Waller covered it up. So via Creature Commandos, I don't know if he knows it there. I don't think he's in charge. Maybe he won't be in charge of Argos. Argos, not Argos, the catalogue company, Argus. He's not in charge of Argos. Anyway, so I don't know, you know, when it comes to Creature Commandos, if he's already in control of Argus. We'll have to wait and see. But I think definitely by Superman, he is in charge of Argus, or maybe Peacemaker Series 2. But he's going to find out that they murdered his son. So the whole idea, his whole motivation is getting revenge on Peacemaker for murdering his son. Now, I'm loving all of this. You know, when it comes to James Gunn and these kind of things like Guardians, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, this is what he's good at. There's no red flags here, and I have no issues with James Gunn doing things like this. My concerns are over Superman and the job he's doing, you know, with the DCU and the messages he's putting out, the conflicting messages he's putting out about the development of this film and this universe. Hopefully my concerns are over nothing. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about Amanda Waller's role in Checkmate. If you watch those Smallville episodes or pick up a comic, you'll find out that there's a shadow company, you know, run by the government. And it's a shadow company, so it's not official, called Checkmate. And everything looks like a chessboard, you know, black and white squares. It's insane. And everyone, you know, so there's, I think Amanda Waller is the White Queen, and then there's a Red Queen, and Martha Kent in Smallville ended up being the Red Queen, which was a huge plot twist. I thought that was an amazing thing to do for that character who normally only bakes apple pies and stays at home. But obviously, Smallville was more of a modern contemporary show, so they gave her something to do, because Annette O'Toole, who's one of the great actresses, one of the best versions of Martha Kent, was complaining while she was a regular on the show. She wasn't doing very much. She wasn't really part of Clark's arc as much as, you know, John Schneider as Jonathan Kent was as the father. Smallville was really about fathers and sons more than, you know, mothers and sons or mothers and daughters. It was that type of show. That's what Superman's story and journey actually is. So yeah, Amanda Waller is in charge of Checkmate, and this is what Gunn's going to do now. He's going to have Rick Flag Sr. running Argus, and he's going to have Amanda Waller starting up Checkmate. Now, I think this is very exciting and very interesting, but the first chapter of this will be Rick Flag in Creature Commandos, and Frank Grillo's been telling us all about this. So what do you think? Are you excited at this element of DC? Listen, there's a lot of issues at DC. The fandom is splintered. What they did to Snyder, Cavill was coming back, then he wasn't coming back. Look, the situation is very messy. And like all the stuff that's going on with James Gunn, the conflicting information, I think now what we need is a Superman trailer to put it to bed once and for all. Is this universe going to work or not?